in today's session. And it's a bit of a shift, but it's kind of like building on what we've been doing, which is all this work, all this, head conversation, heady work that Britt was saying is so important. And then what it comes down to is comes back to us at the personal level of really paying more attention, paying more, becoming more aware of how things are made and how we deconstruct and how we reconstruct. So I want to bring it back to the topic of your personal practice once again. And that is, remember the purpose, the point of the personal practice is to have some kind of intentional activity going so that you become, it gives you more of a capacity, build more capacity to be centered, grounded, resilient, and ready to engage fully with the world. And you all kind of came up with some kind of practice last week, I believe. So this is a time I wanted to check in with you of like, how is that going for you? And again, the reason why we ask you to come up with personal practice is to tend to your well-being, and well-being is held very holistically. So well-being of your physical health, emotional health, energetical health, all of that included, so that you can operate from the place of groundedness. Yeah. So let's see. I want to just send you to a, can we do a diet, Pretty? No, triad. I think one triad and one diet, the rest is diet. We're going to get you in a small group very quickly and then talk to one another. Hey, how's it going? It's a check-in time. And what are kind of things you can check in with? These are, how's your practice going? How is it not working? What is it working? What's the obstacle? What's the resistance? All that kind of thing. Yeah? All right. So let's do this. How about we do this 5 minutes? So very quick. 1 minute per person. All right, let's do that. Sorry, that must have been not enough time. But I wanted to get your sense of just being a little more accountable to each other on this personal practice, right? Because we're dealing with the time issue right now, I'm not going to have you talk about what you have discussed or what you have in question-wise, but I want to just do a quick reminder. So the biggest reason why we're asking and we're advocating for personal practice is not so that you do running or you do meditation. It's not for the sake of activity. This is because we want you to have something consistent going. So this particular work that you're doing for yourself becomes from intention to more of a second nature. It actually happens more naturally for you. Whether that's paying more attention to your own well-being or not, right? And then where that aligns with the bigger part of our work is that you're actually bringing in more awareness to your own self, including your internal landscape, including your own thought, including perhaps the habitual pattern that may no longer serving for you, all of that. But then you are actually bringing in more awareness, right? So we want to make sure that you are actually creating that space for yourself everyday basis, because that's how we are able to enhance our overall well-being in some way. And without this, the work stays difficult. With this, the work becomes more interesting, work becomes more solid, more centered, right? So this is a reminder again to continue to do this. And remember, you have an accountability partner. You're supposed to check in with each other, I believe within 2 weeks or so now. So keep on going. And when you see and feel the resistance of it, become very curious about what that is. And then find a way to, if it's about, say, my own self-judgment, or perhaps even guilt around it, or perhaps you are bumping against a certain kind of a work structure or expectation, all of that is a great awareness to have. But then you're at the place of more, again, greater consciousness to be able to come up with some ways to transcend that. So these are some of the things, just as a reminder and encouragement. Sometimes too much of a thinking about this may not be helpful, so just do it. But we are here in the community to keep this going. So that's the biggest piece. Any final comments or, hanging questions about the topic of well-being and personal practice before we talk about wrapping up the whole day and then next session? Oh, good. Okay. So I want to talk to you about what's coming up next before we wrap up today. So as you know, you had to work on your communication impact assessment. And you also asked your colleagues to fill that form out. So you will be receiving a report that basically lay out all the information. And you'll be receiving this report right after this session. So you can find that in your mailbox. And in that email, there will be a video attached to it, explaining about how to evaluate, how to make sense out of this report. Please watch this first before you open your report. Okay? Please watch the video first before you open the report. Yes, the order is clear: video and report. Yes, okay, good. So, and then do this. Spend some time going through the report after you watch the report, watch the video, and then begin to reflect on the questions that this video is giving you some reflection question with. Spend some time on that. So please do not read the report and the video and all of that like right before the next session. The next session is on Friday. So make sure that you do this sometimes between now until then, and give it some time for you to work on that. Is the instruction clear? Any questions about the preparation for the next session? If you're already feeling a little bit of a little tightness in your stomach, or what's the report is going to say, okay, remember those are the great signs to notice. Right? These are the signs that, okay, I need to take care of myself here. Something I need to pay attention to. Am I going below the line? All of that, again, we are putting all these things that we learned and talked about and exchanging, insight around, we're putting everything into practice now. So this is where the fun begins. This is where the messiness and the beauty begins. Okay, back to you, Britt. Why don't we wrap it up and have people maybe write their experience in the chat.
Yeah, so again, coming back to where we started, what do you believe in? How do you know what you know? How do you know what's true? Big questions, big inquiries that in many ways should inspire you to go take a nap, go take a break. So definitely turn off your mind for a little bit. But after you've had a little bit of time, come back and definitely get out your journal. and just write down what's coming up for you. This is such a great opportunity because of all of our conversation, how much has gotten stirred up. And so you don't want to lose the opportunity to capture this amazing insight that's started to generate. So maybe for those of you who it's particularly late at night right now, maybe that is going to sleep right now and getting up in the morning and maybe taking a few minutes just to jot down what's coming up for you. And whatever it is totally fine. But it's those cracks in the light where we want you to be able to position yourself, because that's where there's going to be all kinds of rich learning. So thank you to everyone. Yeah, go ahead.
Thing. So there is a post-session handouts available on Sutra around social construction. So also please go ahead and make use of those handouts as well.
Yeah. So thank you for actively engaging this topic. Again, it can be a bit heady. So and putting you below the line. So thank you for that. Definitely, if you have questions that are still there, feel free to reach out either through email or WhatsApp, and I'll do my best to try to be clear in my response, especially if it's a question that you think others would benefit from hearing the answer. Feel free to post that to our group chat. Yeah. Okay. So by way of checking out, if people would like to just put in the chat what's coming up for you, what you're taking away, just go ahead and type that in, and we will see you on Friday. Thank you, everyone.